This meeting is being recorded.
You heard it. Hey, everybody. Good evening, Kings. Good evening. Good evening. We are here again as a team, Empowerment Schooling, ready to empower our minds with something new so we can grow this business even further. So, I'm going to jump right in for the sake of time and the training. So I hope you guys have your pens and paper ready if needed. Anytime you need to jump in to ask me a question or you want to add something to it, let me know. This is an open training, but I'm definitely going to try to get us through this in 30 minutes. These trainings kind of tend to go over. So let's get it started. 1 minute already gone. As you know, we are focusing on boundaries. I don't know why I don't know why that just came backwards like that, but whatever. Basically, boundaries they're going to be healthy guidelines that you set for yourself. Inside our best friend's classroom, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like, only for the sake of this actual training. Let me get it up here. Well, you know what? For the sake of the training and the sake of time, I'll stick to the script. Can y'all see that? Okay. For the sake of the training, what I'll do is, wait a second. I will definitely read from our book, The Mind's Guide of Emotion, to let you know what boundaries are, because it definitely is inside of our book here. I want to give you the actual definition from the book. Uh-oh. And that's going to be under, what chapter did we put that under? I believe it's emotional maturity, if I'm not mistaken, page 64. I think. Hang on 1 second. Okay, I got to get the workbook because I'm not exactly sure where in the book it is. Okay, so it's going to be close to anger. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Let me get the actual definition of boundaries so that you're actually able to understand. When we talk about boundaries, it goes in your business. It's also in your business. And it's important that you understand what boundaries are from a personal perspective, because there's so many different kind of boundaries. When we talk about boundaries, you can have intellectual worth boundaries. That is you being entitled to your own thoughts and opinions, as are others. You can have emotional worth boundaries. That's where you're entitled in your own feelings to a given situation as well others are. You have physical worth and boundaries, and that means you're entitled to your space, however wide that may be, as well others. Social worth and boundaries, you're entitled to your own friends and pursuing your own social activities, as are others. Spiritual worth and boundaries, you're entitled to your own spiritual beliefs, as are others. Knowing your boundaries are very, very important. And that's going to help you when you understand your business, when it comes to business. Because business, you guys, if you're not in a in a relationship, no, in a business ship, these are either going to be your colleagues or your acquaintances. And 9 times out of 10, these are your social relationships. You got 4 different types. You have your intimate, you have your personal, you have your social, and you have your public relationships. So within those, in business, it's important that you understand what, keep the boundaries where they need to be, so that you're always able to have the level of respect from you to them and them to you. As being a business owner, it's always a good thing when you're growing your audiences that you set boundaries, and good ways of setting boundaries when growing your audience, because here at Empowerment Schooling, we always focus on, at this point in our trainings, we're focusing on building, engaging, and selling. So signs for unhealthy boundaries, it's these are indicators that you need to be aware of. If someone is telling you everything, that's an unhealthy boundary. They are seeking more than just friendship. More than just businessship. It's becoming really personal. And in business, if this isn't something it's not healthy to cross business with friendships, business with relationships. That's not really a healthy thing to do. And with that being stated, trusting no one, trusting anyone, black and white thinking. Okay, that's an unhealthy boundary. Not noticing when someone else displays inappropriate boundaries. You guys, that's important. If you're not able to understand when somebody else is not displaying good boundaries, then clearly we have some issues. I'm going to stop sharing 1 second. I believe we have participants that are trying to come into the room. Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, so again, not noticing when someone is invading your boundaries. That's gonna be not healthy, okay? That's not healthy. If you don't even know your boundaries, then clearly you're gonna be run over. You're gonna be easily manipulated. You're not gonna be able to express. If you don't have boundaries, do you know how hard that's gonna be for you to ask for a sale? And in business, the name of the game is to have consumers purchase your products and services. So with that being stated, you're going to have to be comfortable asking for the sale. And so when someone is talking at an intimate level on the first meeting, you guys, intimacy, that is a type of relationship. That is for your partners and your core family. If someone is intimately talking to you, clearly they don't respect the boundaries that you have in place, or maybe they can't recognize the boundaries that you have in place, which is not a good thing, because then that means that you're not displaying boundaries as a business person for people to respect. Okay, so being overwhelmed by a person or preoccupied, that's a boundary, because we've got to learn how to stay grounded within ourselves. That means if somebody is aggressively speaking to you, we're speaking from a business standpoint. It's a-okay to tell that person, hold up, I think you need to back up and calm it down, or else you can walk away. But going back and forth from a business perspective is not a good look for your business. If you're always on the phone and you have a consumer, you can't be, you have to be able to focus on what it is. That's what they mean by be preoccupied, when someone's preoccupied. If I'm trying to do a consumer's hair, but I keep stopping, getting something to eat, stopping, taking a drink, stopping, you know what I'm saying? I'm preoccupied. I got other things going on that's not okay. My children keep doing, it's just too much. When we're with our consumers, we need to give them 100% of our attention. If that's not capable, then we need to reschedule the consultation, the presentation, or whatever the situation is, because our consumers are what is going to keep us afloat. And word of mouth is going to be one of the biggest ways that your business will hit the ground if you're displaying things that don't give your consumers what it is that they're needing or the attention they feel like they deserve, especially if they're paying. Acting on first sexual impulse. That's going to be a personal thing, and that's coming from a coaching standpoint, but that's very unhealthy, because if your energy is easily sexually attracted to your consumers, and I'm speaking now from a business perspective, if you're easily sexually aroused by your consumers, there's never going to be boundaries where they will purchase from you. It will always be a sexual thing, and nothing positive is going to come from that outside of sexual, unless that's your type of business. Okay, that's a coaching thing. Being sexual for your partner and not for yourself, that's a coaching. Going against personal values or rights to please another person. You guys, if you know that the whole point in us being business owners is because we've experienced some things in the outside world, in other people's jobs, that weren't conducive to our lifestyle or our state of mind or our state of being. So with that being stated, it's important that when we're in business, that we are sticking to what we're true to. If we know as life coaches we don't give advice, then why in the hell would we give advice? If you know that as a designer that you design but you don't sew, why would you advertise sewing if that's not what you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, be honest and be upfront, and do this to please, to keep the integrity of your business. Just to move on, for the sake of training, this is up there, and you know, if you want to freeze it, pause it, look at it, read through it, but it's very important that you do take some time to read through this. This is in the back office of our Best Friends Club. Of our empowerment library. Signs for healthy boundaries, appropriate trust. Trust, if you don't know what that is, we already done a whole segment on trust. You can definitely double back to our blogs, to our videos on our YouTube page. If you don't have your copy of The Mind's Guide of Emotion, you can definitely get that from the website as well, because trust is in it's on page 84. Okay, so staying focused on your own growth and recovery. Within empowerment schooling, when coaches come aboard, we have them to complete a personal development plan, and that is a plan that gets them moving. It allows them to set goals at a measurable standpoint, to where they're able to keep track of where they are, where they're wanting to be, and in order to keep moving forward. So if you are staying focused on your growth and you're recovering from it when things fall down, you can actually measure where I went down, this happened, this and that. That's a healthy boundary that you've set for yourself, and it's very important that we do so in our businesses. When we noticing that someone is invading our boundaries, you guys, we got to be open in business. You got to be aware of what's happening around you. People are slicker than slime, and they're very slick these days. So you got to be aware of your energy, be aware of what you're putting out, and be aware of what you're allowing into your personal space, even into your business. And that comes even from a phone conversation. You can depict on the phone if somebody's energy is fucked up. Like, you can. It's just being honest. When you have a healthy boundary, you're able to communicate your wants and your needs, and you're able to recognize that you may be turned down, but you still can ask. It's okay to ask for the sale. If you know your boundaries, if you're asking for a sale, hey, have you bought your copy of The Mind's Guide of Emotion? If that person says, hell no, then guess what? You know that that's the type of tone that's going to take you somewhere else. Why would you stand there and go back and forth with this person? That's a boundary that you're not even going to let somebody cross, so you know to back away, because the next person may just genuinely say, no, ma'am, I'm not interested. Thank you. Move on. Because the next person very well might say, oh, shit, let me get a case of them. But if you buy into the foolery of other people's communication styles because you don't understand your personal boundaries within yourself, then you'll end up in a world of trouble. you got to understand that those are a healthy boundary that I really, really want us as business owners to recognize is that we might think and we might feel that our products and services are the best and the world needs them and they just got to have them. When we have got to recognize that our friends and our partners are not mind readers. If there's something that you do not like, if there is something that you do not feel comfortable with, if there is something that is bothering you, it's a-okay if you have boundaries and you have a level of respect for yourself and your business as well as the people around you. Some people are not, everybody's not going to be okay with everything you do, everything you say. Your products may not be everything that you think they are, but it's what a healthy boundary is understanding that you can accept criticism, you can grow from it, or you can completely dismiss it and don't ask that person shit else because you don't like the way they respond to you. And that's a boundary. It's just a boundary. But if you're wanting to grow, being able to take criticism will definitely be a very, very good, healthy boundary or good, healthy skill, because being able to take criticism is a skill. Because some people can say things to you. I'm sometimes hard on my partners and I may say things that are completely out of pocket, and I definitely don't mean it to come across in a derogatory manner. It's just I expect so much of them and I can see so much within them that sometimes I feel like some things that they be saying or doing is just way out of pocket for them, and I just feel like at that time I just have to just be like, man, what the fuck was that? We worked through it. You know, we're a good team. We worked through it. And they let me know, hey man, don't talk to me like that no more. For real though. Don't do that. Like it's a healthy back and forth type of dialogue. But you know, if I push their buttons, they let me know. And if they push my buttons, I let them know. But it's not in a manner to where respect is lost amongst us. And that's all we're asking when it comes to setting boundaries, is that you get to a place where you're able to say, hey man, that shirt make your breasts look like they is smashed to your back. And whereas you can think that, woo girl, this mug, I'm fine. No, you not fine. That back fat is hanging on the side right here. That lipstick make you look like a zombie. I don't like when you do that loud little noise when you laugh. That I don't like it. It turns it don't. You know, you gotta be able to have these boundaries because you're not perfect. Okay. Some people may talk too loud. Some people may talk too fast. Some people may say things that, you know, like for instance, people say I cuss too much. Guess what? I don't give a fuck, because I'm still going to do it. Because I'm highly educated and I know who I am and I'm comfortable within myself. Now, if I'm around people who, like my elders, and they not with that, I am comfortable within myself enough because I have respect for my elders who raised me to not disrespect these elders. Now, if it's somebody that just, I really, it just ain't that big of a deal for me, I'm just going to continue to be me. Because that's my boundary. If you have a problem with being around me or any type of deal, peace to the Middle East. And we're going to do this piece on that one. But, ladies, do y'all want to add anything before we go in? I move on to this last piece and close on out. No and no. Okay. This is a chart that we have in our Best Friends Club. Well, I keep saying the Best Friends Club because I'm so excited about it, but it's not the Best Friends Club. This is not in there. This is in the Empowerment Library within the Empowerment world, the Empowerment School and Classroom world. So when you're understanding boundaries and how to set them, and, you know, there's a few components to that. You're going to need to know your limits. When you're knowing your limits, that means that you clearly define what your intellectual, emotional, physical, and spiritual boundaries are with strangers, co-workers, friends, families, and intimate partners. Okay? So why is that? Why you want to do that? Because okay, I had to read it to make sure. Excuse me, y'all. I don't have my, listen, no worries. For example, why would you need to know your limits? So if you have a past experience where you felt discomfort or anger or resentment or frustration with an individual, it may have been because your limits have been crossed. So if you clarify and define your intellectual, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual boundaries, when that situation is presented to you again, you'll know how to handle yourself and the situation. So there is a chart boundary, and it outlines for each person. That's another sheet involved in this particular slide, but it's in our empowerment schooling classroom. It's not on this particular slide. But anyways, in each person, you'll fill it out and you'll set these boundaries. So basically you'll say, I don't feel comfortable when colleagues at work ask me about my childhood illnesses, dating, life, parenting, or divorce. And by each person on this chart, you would write these things down so that you know your trigger points. That's what boundaries are. Boundaries are trigger points that's either going to make you snap, slap, crackle, or pop. Sometimes it might just make you bow out gracefully. Okay. So if you know your boundaries and you know what it is that is making you snap, crackle, or pop or bow out, then you know how to deal with it before you snap, crackle, pop, or bow out. Okay. Now, be assertive. Please be assertive, because the only way to truly alert others that your boundaries have been crossed is to be direct with them. Being assertive, particularly if you are unaccustomed to doing so, can be scary. So start small with something manageable and build your assertive skills to larger tasks. And I didn't put, these aren't in there. So let's say why. So these are examples. You're going to ask yourself, let's say if your waitress got your order wrong. So what are you going to do? You're going to ask her what you actually ordered. Ma'am, do you know what I ordered? You can just simply ask her, can I just get my order? Instead of snap, crackling, popping, and bowing out, just say, ma'am, can I just get what I actually ordered? Did your friend say something that hurt you? Ask them to meet you out to lunch and explain how the words hurt you. Not you da-da-da-da-da. You can simply say, I felt XYZ when you said da-da-da-da-da. When you did da-da-da-da-da. That's A-okay. If your distant cousin intruded on your dating life, you can simply say you'd rather talk about it. You want to talk about something else. You don't, if you don't want somebody in your business, you can simply change the subject to something that you feel comfortable talking about. It's that simple. Is your colleague at work pushing his work on you to do it? Remind them. You can just simply tell them, hey, this isn't within your scope. You are pretty busy with your own work, and direct them to someone who can, help them with getting the job done. Next, you're going to want to practice. Know that practice makes perfect. Now, nobody's ever going to be perfect, but the more you practice, the more you can become purposeful. So I'm going to change that to say purposeful. Okay. When you first start acting assertive, and you have to actually do this in order for it to become your norm or it to become more comfortable, because everything that you start that's new, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to make you feel all hunky-dory. You aren't going to feel like completely confident in it at the first beginning, and that's okay, because you have to build your way up to things. Let's just keep this thing real here. You were born a baby. You were not born a full-grown person. There were stages that you had to go through and that we still go through, and the same with business. So when you're becoming more assertive in your business, even, and this is all based around your business, but it's dealing with relationships, because in business you're going to, have to be around and be with people. When you start to be assertive, you might be afraid, okay? And that's okay. You might feel like people are going to perceive you as being mean or rude, but affirming your boundaries mean that you value yourself and your needs and your feelings more than others' thoughts and their opinions, okay? What you have to live in this vessel, you have to live in this body. So it's up to you to determine how comfortable you're going to be in this body while you're in it. So being assertive doesn't mean that you're not kind. It doesn't mean that you're not being fair and honest with them. And it does, though, mean that they can go on and you can be kind to them. They'll understand it. You're being honest with people. And sometimes honesty doesn't always feel good, but this for you is why this is important, because you're maintaining your peace and your dignity and your self-respect. And that's what having boundaries is all about, especially in business. Now, after all, you can let someone know that they've crossed the line, and that will lead to resentment, or even confusion. So let's not even go there. Let's address it when we hit it head on. Now, if all of this doesn't work, okay, you can definitely delete people and you can ignore them. But in order for this to happen, you're definitely going to have to voice your boundaries first, and then allow people to follow them. People are only going to do what you allow them to do. So as long as you tie up the loose ends with your family and friends or whoever it is, it may be closure. And some of the promises that have been made, you no longer owe them to anybody. You need to be okay with that. And if you've asserted yourself and you've made it clear to another person that, and he or she is not respecting your boundaries, it is a-okay to ignore or move on from the situation. And you can remind yourself of your worth. You have boundaries. The reason why you have boundaries is because you're worthy of respect. You're worthy to be trusted. You're worthy to be loved. You're worthy of all of these things. And if no one has the right to make you feel uncomfortable or to take you to a place that makes you feel like you don't belong there, or that you're not important, or that your products or services aren't what you feel that they are. So you and your business are worthy of boundaries. So, Keisha, we got 2 minutes. You got something you want to say, Queen? 2 minutes.
Was you trying to unmute me?
Yeah. 2 minutes.
No, everything that you're saying is completely right for setting your boundaries. Even you want to put it for the singles perspective on setting your boundaries, you have to know basically yourself. Get in tune with yourself. You know what ticks you off, even when it comes to your children. Your children can do things that tick you off, and you have to be able to catch those things and those things that trigger you, so you won't snap off and try to separate yourself from that situation. And it's easy for us to have a lot of things that's going on outside of the home and bring that into the home, because you can't control it, because work done pissed you off, that nigga done pissed you off, this done pissed you off. As soon as you walk in the house, your children done said something or that aggravated you, and it just triggered. Knowing that little simple thing your child just said was not the cause for you to pop off on them. But at the end of the day, we have to be able to control those or whatever. When you come home, you have to be able to understand, okay, when you go to a different environment, I need to try to get myself under control before I go in here, because I know I've had this certain day. I know this person is already tricking me. So once you have calmed down and came to that level, once you get into the house, you have brought yourself down to a level, to a point where you should be able to control that. And if you do feel yourself get overwhelmed, go in your room, close your door, put on a candle, say something to you. If you even got to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just to calm yourself down, do it. Hey, it calms you down.
Right. That's right. All those are facts. You gotta learn how to keep business, personal, all that stuff separate. I never knew what I used to not understand what them older people used to say when they used to say when you walk into work, you're supposed to leave your personal life on the other side of the door. When you walk into home, you're supposed to leave your work life on the other side of the door. And those are really boundaries that they were trying to teach us how to set, because believe it or not, coming home from stress and not allowing people to have that downtime can really ruin relationships. And can cause it can ruin relationships with your kids, just like Keisha said, with anybody, because you're taking out your stress from what happened in that day that has nothing to do with them on the household, instead of leaving it. If you got to, you know, listen to some music or call your friend on the way home or something to get it out, and then when you come home, if you're still not, you know, say hey and be like, just give me a minute. That's what I tell my kids. Just give me a minute. It's been one of those days. Just give me 10 minutes. And I go get it together. It's not their fault. They wasn't at work with me all day. Or they wasn't wherever I was all day. It ain't nobody's fault. And when you go to work or in business, please set a boundary and learn how to keep your personal life away. Because it ain't none of them people fault for nothing that's going on. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's another tip of being emotionally mature. Look at Alethea shaking her real like
Her eyes get big.
Right, because I totally understand where she's coming from. In business, you've got to learn that even as partners, if it's just you and somebody else, man, you can't dump all your shit on that person, because y'all already got shit going on in business. It could be a situation where some shit done popped off out of nowhere in business and the other partner sees it, but you calling to talk about something else. And you know what I'm saying? It's you got to be able to know when to do what. There has to be boundaries within all relationships, because you will lose and you will abuse and you will misuse, you know, people and situations, and the very thing that you thought you valued and that had your back, because you were being reckless with it, it will be gone.
Right. And it's okay. Another part of boundaries, it's okay to understand. People get to the point sometimes where maybe you're just not able to do it today. We understand life happens. It's okay to take a mental health day.
Right.
I'm not talking about every day, and I'm not talking about once a week, but it's okay that if you get to that point to where it's like, you know what, I really just need to take some time to myself. I cannot do this today. I don't need to talk to nobody. I just need to just get myself together, cry, whatever, scream, holler. Take a couple hours and take a mental health so you can get them things together and come back on a positive note. Do not bottle that stuff in, y'all. Everybody has emotions. Everybody has feelings. Everybody has things that happen all over the place. But take a mental health day, man. For real. And get it together, right? Listen to music, watch Netflix, watch some love stories, some scary movies, whatever you like to do.
Go buy some
and just
candles.
take time with your right. Light them candles, clean up. You know, some people clean up when they get mad or get frustrated. And they be all in the baseboards, all that. That's fine.
Yes,
Whatever you do,
Huh?
do it.
you was
Look
raising
how she
your
looking.
hand.
Cause when I get mad and irritated, I clean up and I vent to myself. I be going the heck off and venting to myself while I'm cleaning up to calm myself down. I do. That's why when I'm venting, I don't be wanting nobody to say nothing because I'm just cleaning and venting. I don't mean it. I'm just venting and I'm getting it out.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, honey. This done went to a whole different type of training, but sometimes mindset, a lot of times mindset training is definitely needed within business because it keeps things in perspective. It's all good to learn how to connect this to this and make this go and make that work and this and that, but it's also a good thing to stay mentally aligned and refresh your mind.
Right.
I can
Because
definitely.
your brain is powerful. But if you don't refresh it, it's just like a computer. If you don't refresh the computer and you don't restart it over and you don't give it no break, what start happening? It starts skipping, freezing, doing whatever you want to do. Your brain work. You got to take care of your mind.
Got to.
Most definitely.
So, you guys, like I told you, we always end up going over, but like we just said, that your mind is important and having mindset training, periodically is also a good thing. So I guess we may just incorporate a mindset training into our end of the month so that, as a team, we all realign our mind together and just keep growing. So until our next training, which is next Thursday, we should have this room packed out. So don't forget to add your friends and let them know. Come on in. We are training. So, excuse me, until our next training. Peace.